Well, I welcome you back to our training. Now we are now going to add our code so that this system will work nicely for us. Now this is what we are going to do. Before that, we need to save this form. So let's go to File and click on Save it. So when this prompt message comes, says the following features cannot be saved in macro free workbook. So that VV project. So to save a file with this, click No and then choose a macro enabled file. So you click on No to continue using save as macro free workbook. Click Yes. So we want this. What we are doing is a macro thing that we are adding to our Excel. So you need to enter No and go and select macro enabled Excel. So after you have clicked No, you come to this side and select this one. You go and select macro Excel macro enabled workbook. Then you click on it. Then you have the name there already, so the location is there, so you just save it. So our macros is now our Excel is now macro enabled. So let's continue. Now we are going to input the formulas. So what we are going to do now is we are going to click on, we are going to use set for the login screen. But before that, let's click on this side, user name, the input field for username. Then go to the name side. We're going to give it a name, the name that we can remember. So this is the name we are going to enter. TST mean text. Then you enter username, small capital letter first, then username. So that's the test for username. So when you are entering, make sure you check the spelling, because you are going to use the name for the coding. Then after that, hit on enter, then come and set the password to 12. Then you go and click on it and write STX, then password, capital P, password, then hit on enter. Then you come and select the login screen. So we're going to give it the login screen name. So you add BTN, that's stand for button. Then login, that's the button for login. Then exit. So we do that one too. BTN exit. Good. So we have this nicely done. Now we are going straight to our coding. So one thing you need to do, let's select the login screen and double click on it. If you double click on this, what you are going to see, you have private sub, then the name of the tab that we click, that is button login. Then the click, that is the events. So when the button is clicked, what should happen? So that's where you're going to enter the code. So the first code is, you're going to use the if function. So we enter if the username. So what name do you give the username? The test, that is txt username. The txt username dot value, that is the value or what you enter there, what you enter in that field. That value is equal to empty. In coding, empty, we use double quotes to represent empty. It's empty. Then if, that is another if again. Then if the txt password dot the value for that one too is also empty, then what should happen? So what should happen? So now let's take note. If the username is empty and the password is empty, what should happen? So when you click on it, this is what should happen. Message box, that's the information that will come. That message box should be please input the username and password. I'm taking my time to do this. This is pure coding. That is VBA VBA programming language. That's what we are doing. Good. So after that, then we continue. So if the username is empty and the password is also empty, this is what you should see when you click on the login screen. The input, please input username and password, that will appear. So let's add another argument. Else, the else means that if what we did, that's else, that's if another thing is done. As if the password is still, the username is still empty, but the password you enter something. That is, you enter the password that you want. So this is the message that you should get. It says message box. Then you input the message that you want. So you enter please input the user name. Then you end the if. So end if. And if. Now let's move forward. So let's try and okay. Let's indent it so that our work will be nice. So this what this message means. It says if the text that you entered in the username is empty and the password box is also empty, this message is what you should see. Please input the username and password. But if the username is still empty, but the password you enter something there, that is, you entered the password that you want, this is what should come. Please input the username. It will prompt you to input the username. That is the first argument. Now let's move forward. Let's add another argument. The other argument we are going to use as if tst text username dot value is equal to then the password that you want. So let's use admin as the default one. So we can use your name to represent the username. So if our login screen, our username is admin and the admin is entered, then also if your password, that is tst password dot value is equal to, is still empty. So what should happen? Then the message box should show or should prompt you as please input password. You see this one. Let's see this argument too. This argument also says now if the admin is entered, that is the username is admin and it has been entered correctly, but the password is still empty, this is what you should see. Please input the password. You see, then another argument again, as if tst password dot value is equal to, now the correct one we are going to enter the password. So let's say 1234, that's the password that we want to enter. So if now the password is, which is 1234, is now entered, then what should happen? Then the message box should appear like successful. That means the password has been correctly entered and the username also correctly entered. Then if it is successful, what should happen again? That means that is the me which is the username, the user form, the me should hide. That's me.hide. The me should hide. Then the application, the application that you are working on, which application that is should then open. That means it should be dot visible should be equal to true. Should be true. Now let's continue. So if the password is entered correctly but the username is not entered, to prompt you to enter password, but the password is now entered correctly, that which is the password that you have selected for our system, then it should be, the message box should be successful. Then if it's successful, that means the me, which is the user form, the login form, should hide. That means it should disappear. Then the application the application that we are working on, that is the Excel, would then be true. That means to be visible for us to start working on it. That is how the system is. So we still need more arguments. As at times whereby the password may be inputted but it may be wrong. So let's add another else. Else is message. There's a message box here again. Message box again. And what is the message box telling us? It's telling us that please input the correct password. Okay, let me move this space here. Good. So this is what this one means. Since the password was entered correctly, it was successful. But in case the password is entered, it's not empty, but it's entered, and it is entered wrongly, the message should come here as please enter the correct password. Then you end that if. You end that argument there. And if. Good. Now let's try to add more arguments. So let's add another else if. That is whereby the password is empty. What should come? The password empty as we have stated previously. the admin is correct, the username is correct, but the password is empty, what we should do now in the cases whereby both the password and the this thing, the username, they are entered correct, they are entered alright, but they are wrong. That means a message should pop up. You see, from the beginning, the password here from the beginning, say the password when it is empty and the username says also empty. This is what you should see. Now at this side, the password is entered correctly, but the username the username is entered correctly, but the password is what? Wrong. So this message will come. But here the password is correct while the username is already entered. This is the message that it should come successful. And at this side, the password is wrongly entered. That is where you prompt you to correct it. But now the username is entered but it's wrong, while the password is also entered and it is also wrong. So what will be the message to come? So we are going to add another as if function. So as if txt password dot value is equal to where is it? It's equal to empty. Yes, sorry, empty. Then the message box should display please input the password. That's what we did at the top there. Password. Sorry. Okay. We left the okay. Sorry. Okay. Then, as if the password is not empty, but it is entered and it's entered wrongly, and the username also is entered but entered wrongly, that's where this else will come in. Then else, which message should we see? Then to say please input the correct username or password. Then you close it. Then you end the if. Good. Now our system is ready. Now let's try it. So if you want to try, you are going to run it in the system and see. So go to run. Then you go to run sub or username of. Okay, now our login screen is active here. Now let's see something. So we are going to enter and see what will happen. So let's enter something like anything wrongly here and see if the login screen will happen. You see what happened? See, input the correct username and password. So now let's try to enter the correct one and see. We use admin, then 1 2 3 4. Then you enter. You see it is successful. Then the system will appear. Good. So our system, our login tab or our login button is now correctly configured. Now let's go back to our login screen. So let's click here. Okay, before that, let's save it. Then let's go back. Let's click on this. Okay, I think this one. Let's click on that one. Then we are now going to deal with the exit button. So after click on it, you double click on it. Then the exit one button also will appear. So we are going to enter a formula for that one too. So when that button is clicked, what should happen? it says the workbook. That's the workbook that we are working on. So this workbook, this workbook is workbook dot application. Okay, dot application dot quit. It should what? It should quit. We don't need it, so we can, let's select it from here. So we should quit. So in the moment you click on that, the application should what? Should quit. So let's save it. Let's save it. Then let's go and run it and see what will happen. Now go to run, then go. So let's click on it and see. Wow, you see that's exit. Now that is nicely done. Our work is nicely done. So let me open it again. So let's open it again and see what will happen. Good. So the moment, the first time you input or you add the login screen, this is what will appear. It will tell you that security warning, some active content has been disabled. Click for more details. So you enable the content. You see, then the content will come. You see that when we started our system. So let's close it again and see something. I want to show something. So save. Oh, sorry, I should have saved. No problem. So let me open it again and see something. I want you to show something before we end this lesson. Good. You see that the moment you open this system, so you see the moment you open the system, the login screen does not come. So you need to do some settings to make it come. So with that, we will continue with that on the next video, and then end it with the working of cells. Thank you all and enjoy your day. Bye bye.